It's Aquarium Monday here at the Two Oceans Aquarium. We are here with Mark and another creepy little critter friend. Harry the snake.
So this is Harry. Harry is the best mole snake in the world. He is part of the ecosystem exhibit since we want to show off a few more reptiles here at the aquarium. So it's not all about, the aquatic animals. We do want to show off a few terrestrial animals as well.
Okay.
And Harry is kind of the star of the show when it comes to reptiles.
Okay.
He's a mole snake, and a lot of people, when they come through the ecosystem, they usually get scared, and some people don't even want to look at the snake. They say, please just, show me the door.
Yeah.
But actually, mole snakes are vital to our ecosystems here at in the Western Cape and around Cape Town, because of course they eat moles. They also eat mice, a lot of rodents, and of course they are the key players in kind of keeping that structure, that kind of food pyramid stable. Without the mole snakes, of course, we will be ridden with rodents, and I'm sure not a lot of people like rodents running around. So without the mole snake population, the Cape Town will be a much scarier place, I would think, because I actually would prefer a snake over a big rat. Not sure about you. Yes.
No, I mean, I love snakes. But I mean, like, their heads are quite small, I mean, how do they even eat a mole?
It's actually so interesting, and I've had the pleasure of seeing him feeding before. Their bottom jaw actually dislocates so that their mouths actually are enlarged, so they can actually feed on something that's twice the size of their head.
Wow.
So their little bottom jaw dislocates from the rest of the bones, and they are able to stretch it out, and then they slowly just grab the mole or the rat with their little fangs, and then they swallow the meal whole. Yes, and it takes quite a while for that food to digest. So the metabolisms are much slower since they are reptiles as well. Hello. So it takes about a week for their food to fully digest.
Okay. Is it even slower in the wintertime?
It is slower. So with reptiles, they are cold-blooded, and they depend on the outside environment to kind of regulate their metabolism. So if it is colder, their metabolism slows down, which means they digest their food slower. In the warmer months, the kind of chemical processes in the body will speed up, and that means they digest their food faster.
Quicker, right. So how do you maintain the heat during the winter times here in this tank?
So we actually keep the exhibit on a constant temperature. Inside of this exhibit, we have some heating plates, which are covered in tiles, and then of course the substrate sand. We also have a heating element on top, which keeps the exhibit atmosphere nice and warm, and of course it's monitored by a thermometer, so the aquarist in charge of the exhibit can actually see if the exhibit is at the right temperature.
So just to make sure that he's okay and feeling good, like, does he go for regular checkups or anything like that?
He does go for checkups, so it's actually part of the aquarist in charge to make sure that the animal is in good health. If there is a little bit of a scratch or a bump, then they will actually treat the wound with some ointments. But usually Harry is fine. It's only Harry inside of this exhibit. So he's got this nice big space all to himself.
Lucky.
Yes.
But I mean, so what makes mole snakes different to other snakes besides the name?
So mole snakes are actually not venomous. So a lot of people mistake mole snakes for black mambas. They do look quite similar with their beautiful black scales that they have. But the big difference between a mole snake and a black mamba is that underneath the body, you can actually see that their scales, there's only one kind of layer of scales underneath the body, where venomous snakes will have 2 rows. So that's a very important kind of key identifier to check if a snake is venomous. Also, non-venomous snakes will actually move with their head down.
Must I hold this for you?
I'll just actually get Harry to move on the side. There we go.
So
getting him nice and comfortable.
Yeah.
Right.
It looks like
he wants to get back inside.
Yeah, it looks like he wants to go back
does get a bit cold when we take him outside of the exhibit, so I think we can put him in back.
Right. So, I mean, you say that they take care of the rodent problems and anything like that. Do they maybe find themselves up in people's gardens, people's homes?
Yes, so mole snakes are sub-Saharan species. So you'll find them all over South Africa, Namibia, and countries that border South Africa as well. So you might actually find mole snakes in your garden, which is actually a good thing. If you see a mole snake in your garden, it means that your garden is healthy. It means that you are sustaining an ecosystem that is healthy for mole snakes, which is great as well, because it means that you will have less rodents in your garden.
Right.
But you shouldn't be scared if you see a mole snake in your garden, because I did say earlier, they are not venomous. They can bite. So if you do see one in your garden, do approach with caution, or if you are not comfortable handling the snake, do call someone. Right. But just know that you shouldn't kill the animal, because it can't actually kill a person. If it bites down on you, you can just remove the fangs carefully and you will survive. But if you are not comfortable with removing the snake, there are people that you can contact to remove the snake from your garden, and they will place it somewhere else.
Great.
Okay, but it's a good thing when you find mole snakes and toads and frogs in your garden, because it just means that you've got a very healthy ecosystem going.
Exactly. So you heard it right here, guys. If you find a snake in your backyard, it's not because you're cursed or anything like that. It's because your garden is healthy and happy, and you should be happy as well.
Very, very true.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Mark.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us here at the Two Oceans Aquarium for Aquarium Monday. And I'll see you guys again next week on Radio 786.